Welcome back to The Sovereign Game by M.J.J. Taylor. Chapter 6, Master the Environment. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more M.J.J. Taylor. Don't fit the room, make the room fit you. Interpretation. You are never just battling people. You are battling the air around them. Power doesn't thrive in isolation. It lives, breathes, and multiplies inside environments you either command or surrender to. Master the environment means shaping the world around you so completely that others must adapt to your rules just to survive in it. Environments aren't just physical, they are emotional, cultural, psychological. A meeting room is an environment. A relationship is an environment. A nation is an environment. And whoever sets the tone, the rules, the rhythm of that space wields the invisible kind of power that bends everyone else without a single order being given. Most people enter an environment and conform. They breathe the air they're given. They absorb the hierarchy, the mood, the unspoken rules, never realizing they're living inside someone else's design. Sovereigns refuse this. They reshape the room, the company, the battlefield, the empire, until it reflects their will. They don't just play the game. They build the stadium, decide where the lines are drawn, and dictate what winning even looks like. To master the environment is to stop fighting battles on hostile terrain. It's to stop being a guest in someone else's kingdom. It's the quiet art of creating a stage where your strengths are magnified, your enemies suffocate, and every choice others make moves them closer to where you want them. Historical example, Tokugawa Ieyasu in Edo, Japan. The strong win not by force alone, but by making force unnecessary. Attributed to Tokugawa Ieyasu. When Tokugawa Ieyasu unified Japan in the early 1600s after centuries of brutal civil war, he faced an impossible task: how to control ambitious warlords who had spent generations fighting for dominance. He knew that brute force could not hold an entire nation forever, so he built an environment that made rebellion unthinkable. He moved the capital to Edo, modern-day Tokyo, and forced every feudal lord, daimyo, to maintain lavish residences there, draining their wealth in displays of loyalty. He demanded their families live in Edo as guests, hostages by another name. He restructured the roads, cities, and trade routes so that everything flowed through his administration. Without firing a single arrow, he created an ecosystem where rivals depended on his order to keep their power, and the cost of disobedience was too high to bear. Tokugawa didn't just win battles. He won the environment itself, turning Japan into a living machine that only worked if everyone submitted to his design. His dynasty ruled unbroken for over 250 years. Modern example, Jack Welch and the GE transformation. Control your destiny or someone else will. Jack Welch. When Jack Welch took over General Electric in 1981, the company was bloated, slow, and ruled by outdated hierarchies. Instead of patching weaknesses, Welch reshaped the environment from the inside out. He tore down barriers between departments, forced every division to be first or second in its market, or be shut down, and created a culture where speed, precision, and relentless innovation were the new oxygen. This wasn't just strategy, it was environmental engineering. Welch built a space where only agility and excellence could survive, pushing mediocrity out without needing endless speeches or punishment. He didn't simply lead people. He redesigned the conditions they lived and worked in until they had no choice but to rise or vanish. By mastering GE's environment, Welch didn't just make a company profitable. He made it a force of nature in global business, one that outlasted individual leaders and became a blueprint for corporate dominance worldwide. Folktale, the house that moves itself, China 1700s. In a small Chinese province, two brothers fought over inheritance. One owned a house by the river, the other the fertile fields uphill. Each tried to sabotage the other, flooding land, blocking paths, poisoning trade routes. Years passed in hatred until one day the brother by the river disappeared. When the other went to gloat, he found the entire house dismantled and rebuilt uphill, surrounded by new fields, far beyond his reach. Legend says the first brother whispered as he left, "If the ground is poisoned, take your house to higher soil." The moral traveled far. Sometimes the greatest power move is not to fight a bad environment, but to create a new one where no enemy can follow. Tactical placement. Environment is invisible power. It decides behavior without anyone realizing they're being directed. If you control the conditions, the space, the tone, the resources, the rhythm, you don't need to bark orders. People bend naturally, believing they are making free choices, when in truth you have tilted the ground beneath their feet. Mastering the environment begins with awareness. Step into any space and feel it. Who set the mood? Who dictates where people sit, how they speak, what they fear saying aloud? Every place you enter has rules, spoken or not, written by someone. If it's not you, you're already playing at a disadvantage. Changing an environment doesn't always take force. Sometimes it's rearranging who speaks first, moving a meeting to your turf, altering the flow of information so decisions naturally lean your way. Sometimes it's creating a new space entirely, a circle of friends, a department, a movement built around your values, where others can only gain power by playing your game. You are never powerless if you can master where the game is played. Sovereigns don't just fight well, they build arenas where they can't lose. Apply this in relationships. Set the tone of connection, choose where, when, and how you engage, never letting others define the space. Leadership. Build cultures where your principles are oxygen. People either adapt or leave. Manipulation. Tilt conditions subtly so choices you want seem like the only natural ones. Friendship. Be the hub of energy in your circle. Create an environment where people feel stronger around you. Reversal. Not every environment can be mastered, and trying to control every detail can make you suffocating or paranoid. True power knows when to adapt temporarily, to observe, to move quietly before shifting the terrain. Sometimes you let others believe they control the environment until you've studied every weakness in its walls. Power principles. The strongest influence is built into the air people breathe. Environments dictate choices long before words or orders do. Build your arena or you'll fight in someone else's. Change the ground and you change the outcome. A sovereign controls conditions, not just commands. Closing thoughts. Battles are won before swords clash. Decisions are made before words are spoken. Power lives in the soil, the air, the rhythm of every environment you touch. Tokugawa built one that made war impossible. Jack Welch built one where mediocrity couldn't breathe. A man in China moved his whole house rather than live poisoned by someone else's ground. Mastering the environment means you stop fighting on hostile terms. You stop waiting for fair chances in unfair spaces. You bend the conditions until they nourish you and choke resistance. And once you learn to do this, you'll never again beg for space or luck. You'll make your own weather, and the world will have no choice but to live in it.